Welcome to Beyond the Headlines on the WMBD Plus app, where we break down today's local news stories with our very own reporters. I'm Brianna Rittman. First, we're getting an update on day 4 of the Sean Grayson trial happening here in Peoria. Then we will learn about a new plaque revealed in East Peoria that honors a huge part of history. And lastly, hear about a tradition that symbolizes veterans who have taken their own life. Now, our first big local story of the day, we are on day 4 of the Sean Grayson trial happening right here in Peoria. WMBD's Alex Berger has been covering the case all week and joins us outside the Peoria County Courthouse. So, Alex, what are the main points of today?
Brianna, good evening to you. Well, today was a long day, again, for all parties involved. 7.5 hours starting at 9 a.m. They broke at about 4:30 p.m. Had about an hour and a half lunch break as well built in there from about 11:30 to 1. Main details of today. There were about 5 witnesses called to the stand, thus making it a longer day. Most of these witnesses had experience in crime scene investigation, specifically with officer-involved shootings. One of the pathologists that they called up to the stand was asked if Sonia Massey would have survived had she been transported to a local hospital, been rendered medical aid immediately, and been rushed to surgery. He said it was possible. Other than that, there were there was a crisis intervention teacher that actually taught Sean Grayson. His name was Sergeant Anthony Regano. He took the stand as well. He spoke about something called officer-created conflict. That basically coincides with the prosecution's argument that Grayson breached conduct that early morning. Another expert in police training saying Grayson's actions that early morning were in direct contrast to departmental policy. And that was pretty much the summary of the day. Those were the main points. They also, at the very end of the day, kind of went back and forth on what the self-defense case is here, and that took about half an hour. They went into a sidebar about that, so that took a while as well. But main points of today, autopsy photos were shown to the jury along with Massey's family. There were also less people from Grayson's family than were there yesterday. Going over these autopsy photos, the prosecution argued that this was important to their case because they wanted to show how Massey had died. The defense did not want these photos shown, saying that it could kind of inflame some of the emotions from the jury. These autopsy photos did show that Massey had been shot below her left eye, and they also kind of went into the cause of death with that as well. Some of Massey's family were crying. Some of her family members had to leave. It was a really intense, long day for all parties, but it will pick up again tomorrow at 9 a.m. with more testimony.
And so we have more testimony. Are we expecting closing arguments tomorrow, or will this trial go into next week?
You know, Brianna, I expect this trial will actually go into next week. We have a lot more testimonies to get to. We've only gotten through about, as far as I know, about 12. And so with there being about 20 or so, 15 to 20, we will see a fair amount more of testimonies at the stand. Tomorrow will be a very similar day as today. There will be more witness testimonies. I don't know what they will be experts in, but they will be more witnesses taking the stand, and it will be a very similar flow as today. It will start at 9, and it will break for lunch, and then they will also most likely get out in between that 3:30 to 4:30 period. That's kind of what we've been seeing over the last few days, is that hour window when they break. As far as the rally outside here, we saw about 20 people today, which is a little bit different than yesterday where we saw about 30 or so, 40 or so. Monday we saw 122, so it's been about almost 100% drop in how many people have showed up for the rally. Even after the hours of when the rally actually dispersed, though, there were still a few people holding up signs, chanting. And so it still went into the after hours after they broke for court. But mainly, even though Shaman St. Louis Boone won't be there tomorrow, she is the organizer of this rally. Of course, she won't be there tomorrow, she is saying. But however, they will still have a rally from 1 to 5, same time. They will be out here, but we're going to keep an eye on if that number continues to be less. But they've said no matter how many people are out here, their message stays the same. They want to see justice for Sonia Massey.
All right, Alex, thank you so much for that update. We will follow up with you on WMBD News at 6. Now let's switch gears here. Check out this time lapse as workers install a massive spider made up of more than 15,000 balloons. The 70-foot wide spider is on display now in the lobby of the Great Wolf Lodge in Gurnee, Illinois. It took 256 hours to build by 9 balloon artists. And it also features a 70-foot wide body and 90-foot legs. It's a wolf spider, famous for being a speedy hunter with excellent eyesight. In addition to the giant mama spider, there are 12 baby spiders in the lobby, each 8 feet across. Wow. I'm not a fan of spiders, but that is talent. Balloon artists are artists in any genre are talented, because I don't. Writing's as far as I can go. Now, from spiders to lions, Lizzie the lion is celebrating her 19th birthday at the Peoria Zoo. Aww. In a Facebook post, the Peoria Zoo says this African lion embodies the perfect mix of strength and sass. They add she is known for her signature side eye and is a fan favorite among guests and staff. According to the Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance, the average lifespan of a lion is about 15 years, but they can live up to 30 in human care. Happy birthday, Lizzie. You go, girl. Fierce. Fierce. She got it. All right, when we come back on Beyond the Headlines, we've got Cameron Main talking about a special plaque being revealed in East Peoria that honors a huge part of history. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines, where we talk to our reporters about the stories that matter to you. Our next local story of the day. The city of East Peoria reveals a new plaque honoring the manufacturing hub that helped the Allies win World War I. WMBD's Cameron Main joins us now to explain the history behind it. So Cameron, what is this technology?
Okay, so basically, during World War I, there's this guy called Captain Herring.
Okay,
That's
Captain
his last
Herring.
name. I forget his last name, his first name, as soon as I get on camera. But his name was Captain Herring. He met this guy, and you may know him. His name was Murray Baker. He was the vice president of the Holt Manufacturing Company that would eventually join with another company to become Caterpillar. They started talking, and they decided to make this manufacturing hub. So they were able to make some tractors to send into the World War I. So why send tractors into onto the front, onto France during World War I? You would have to, the main ways that you fought the war, right, were through trench warfare, gases like mustard gas and artillery. That was the main reason why everybody was so holed up on those same lines for years and years. But how do you transport such heavy artillery? Well, you had to use originally horses.
Okay.
Now, Holt Company didn't invent the tractor. That was like a year-long process of a bunch of different people inventing the tractor. But they invented the tracks that helped them move uphill. So they were able to replace the horses with tractors to transport the artillery. And that was the big invention that the Holt Manufacturing Hub made. And that they made this thing called Camp Herring that lasted between 1917 and 1919 that trained soldiers how to maintain and repair these tractors on the front lines.
Okay, that is very fascinating. So today there was a plaque revealing today? How was
Yes,
that?
so East Peoria, funnily enough, East Peoria doesn't have a lot of World War I monuments, which is kind of surprising because I think it's one of the lesser talked about wars, because after that was World War II, and World War II was kind of crazy, in a lack of better terms, But World War I, they wanted to memorialize that history because what happened is they knew that history, but they didn't have it really represented anywhere. And the fact that this was a really important part of their history, they really wanted to be able to convey that to future generations. So today's event was all about that plaque, was all about being able to put all that information I said onto that piece of writing. Now, mind you, that plaque you're seeing, that little paper piece, that was just how it's going to be designed. That's not the actual plaque. The actual plaque will be, I'm not sure of the exact parameters and what it's made of, but I know it will be placed in the Levy District Park, just outside the Fond du Lac Library. And it's just a way that East Peoria is going to memorialize, oh, that's kind of the area, as you can see on screen, that general area. It's a way for them to memorialize, you know, a big part of World War I history, and that they did play a big part in the war. And I talked to one of the Illinois Historical Society people, the executive director, mind you, and he said this was 100% a major reason why they were able to win the war front. And because, I mean, when you're in your head, it's like horses. Okay, they travel, they bring artillery, but horses were used for a lot of things, and horses die.
Right.
And so it's a lot easier to make a tractor than to breed and build horses and train them, which millions were bred and trained in multiple countries throughout the war. So this was a really important invention that really helped. Not exactly 100% was the reason they won. There was obviously a lot of little things, but that was one invention that really helped them move up in the front and be able to actually have an impact on the war. And East Peoria wanted to really memorialize that.
Well, that's good for the East Peoria.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Well, we're going to switch gears here now. Now, take a look at this. That's where you're from, right? Australia.
Yeah, I'm Australia. Oh, yeah, I am.
If you couldn't tell already, people are helping red crabs make their way into the ocean as part of their annual migration. Tens of millions of crabs are migrating to Christmas Island, where they will breed. The island is home to roughly 1,200 people who sometimes use leaf blowers and garden rakes to help the crabs on their way. According to the Christmas Island National Park acting manager, up to 200 million endemic crabs have already made it to the island. The annual odyssey was triggered by summer rains last weekend.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, Christmas Island, you know, that is a territory very far away from Australia, but it is under our jurisdiction.
Okay.
It's quite a controversial island, actually. I will say that there have been some... It's also been the place where we do immigration processing for a lot of people that come on boats from war-torn countries and refugees. So when you mention Christmas Island to an Australian, it's usually in a negative connotation.
Oh,
but
wow.
Seeing that these crabs they're kind of taking over the place.
Yes.
It seems like they're also immigrants to the little island.
Is there a law against harvesting those crabs or something? Because some of those would end up in a pot.
Look, my crustacean legal understanding is not as high as I would like it to be.
Okay.
But I would imagine, you know, with crabs, it's
Who's counting? Like, would you really miss if I
if you were able to make like a soup out of crab legs. I don't know if
crab boil or something.
They look pretty, like they look big, but they don't look that big. I don't know how much juice you're getting out of those crabs. I do remember one time my little cousin, when we were fishing offside, we were in some random island off Queensland near the Great Barrier Reef, and a crab like yay big, she reeled it in on a fishing rod. It was really crazy. And when I mean yay big, you can't really see my hands right now, but it was about like
there we go.
2 feet. Yeah, it was a big crab. It was a big boy. And
that's a juicy one.
Yeah, it was. Well, actually, we couldn't eat it because it had like a mark that meant it was a female.
Okay.
So
one of those tags. Yeah.
We love our crab queens in Australia.
We do. Well, we've got one more local story for you when we return to Beyond the Headlines. We're getting an inside look at a tradition that a group of people do every month to symbolize something very important. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. WMBD is highlighting veterans' voices. Once a month, a group of talented artists known as the 22 VA take part in what they call the Patriot Plunge to raise awareness, about veterans lost to suicide. WMBD's Austin Feeman spoke to one veteran who spearheads this effort.
On the 22nd of every month, a group of veteran artists jump into the water led by Michael Reagan in order to bring awareness to veteran suicide. Mike shared with me that 22 veterans commit suicide every day.
A good friend of mine committed suicide 6 years and 7 months ago. I do it in his memory and in the memory of all the people. To me, it's a little frustrating when I don't have more people coming out and doing it, but I'm not going to stop.
Mike served in the Navy for 20 years. November will mark the 4th year Mike has jumped in honor of his friend.
I always think of my brother. My brother was always a huge friendly smile, a big high five. I think when we can be the light and we can be love and we can be hope, that when we exemplify that, we can meet people where they're at.
They hope this event will bring more awareness to not just veteran suicide, but suicide in general.
I want veterans to start talking more. I want civilians and non-veterans to start learning more about veteran suicide and about just reaching out. It's not just veterans that are committing suicide.
Mike's organization, 22 Veteran Artists, helps veterans cope with their struggles using art. They put on art shows to showcase the pieces as well.
We want to be that hub where everybody comes to up in Peoria Heights at the VFW. And 22 VA, we want to be that place where people access us to see that veterans make some crazy artwork.
In Peoria, Austin Feeman, WMBD News.
Okay.
Well, I'm back. It was a really heartfelt story, and I think that's really cool that, you know, there's a way to, you know, live
Honor
on
those,
and
right.
honor those who have passed and live on as a veteran, because I think as well a part of it is taking care of the living veterans and
Right.
living after a conflict, and you know those are people we always seem to default to the veterans that have given their lives, but I
Right.
think it's also when you're alive and you've had a conflict and you've had that traumatic experience, you know, moving
right.
on, and yeah.
Yeah, veteran stories always touch my heart because my dad is a 22-year vet of the Navy.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, 22 years.
Wow, 22. Was he on a big boat?
Yes, he was, the last one he was on was the USS Carl Vinson out of, we were Washington State.
Washington
That's where I was
State.
from,
Okay,
yes.
okay. So like yay big, like you know,
Maybe about 5 of you.
5 of me. Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Just
But before we go, we're talking about pumpkin carving. Wondering when the best time to do so? Experts seem to have found the answer. They say if possible, wait until the day before Halloween to have the ultimate pumpkin carving experience. That way it'll be beautiful and fresh for the big day. Otherwise, once you cut into it, mold, bacteria, and critters get in there and do their thing, breaking down pumpkin's flesh. It happens rather quickly. One minute you got a fun lopsided grin, the next minute you got a collapsed orange blob, and who has time for that?
yeah, who has time for that? Honestly, pumpkin carving, we don't do a lot of it in Australia.
Okay.
Halloween isn't just that big of a holiday in Australia compared to America, but I think pumpkin carving is pretty fun. But I mean, regardless of what I do, my smiles look lopsided, you know. My artistic talent is not in pumpkin carving.
Really? Thought you were a pro.
I'm a pro at like video games.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's some art forms, you know, that I have yet to master, and I think pumpkin carving, while I do enjoy it, I kind of suck at it.
I think that's the fun about pumpkin carving. The jack-o'-lanterns don't have to look perfect. Some people
that's
got
true.
crazy skill though.
Yeah, no, there's some really I went to the Morton Pumpkin Festival, and some of those were ridiculous.
Right.
It's like, we need to put these things in the Louvre. Like, they're really good. But maybe they might get stolen.
Right, we don't want to risk them being stolen.
Maybe in a different location for now.
The Ratatouille gonna steal it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Cameron, for joining me. Thank you for joining us for today's Beyond the Headlines. You can find all these stories and more over on our website, ciproud.com.
For breaking news and weather updates 24/7, log on to ciproud.com and download the free CI Proud to Go mobile app.